Many people often face the challenge of perfecting their title document after making a purchase, i.e. they bought a property that has a CFO. What are they supposed to do next? Or they bought a property that has a governor consent. What are they supposed to do next? Or they even had the one that had an excision or a gazette. What is the next step of action? Or the land was actually even under an acquisition before. What is the next step they are supposed to do to get to their final destination? These are many more the common challenges people often face after buying a property and they want to perfect their title. Hello, smart investor. Welcome to this YouTube channel, Real Estate Medicine. This is where we educate you, we inform you, we enlighten you about property investment, giving you pro tips, advice, guides, and warnings so that you can avoid the costly mistakes other people are making when buying real estate. And so you will become a smart investor, making the same investment decision with peace of mind to guarantee you the desired result. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, why don't you subscribe right now? And if you have missed our previous episodes, do yourself a favor by going through them, because what we are about to discuss with you today is a continuation of our series about how to understand the hierarchy of property title in Nigeria. And today we'll be discussing how to get your CFO or governor consent. That is very, very important. Now you bought your property. So how do you get your CFO or governor consent? Now, before you can get a CFO or a governor consent, you must understand the root of your title. The root title of the document you are having is very, very important, because that will determine how you proceed to the next level. So what does rule of title, what does it really mean? It means that the title document of that property from the initial stage. Now, if you want to obtain a governor consent on a property, what are the root of title? What must be the root of title? You can obtain a governor consent on a property that has a gazetted excision, or that is, it has a gazette, or it has an excision, or the excision on it has been gazetted, that is, it's an official record. Then you can perfect your title to have a governor consent. Or you bought a property that has a CFO before, and you now want to up that property and perfect your title on it. What you'll be having is a governor consent. Or you have a property that already has a governor consent and you want to perfect your title in your own lane. The title document you'll be having is governor consent. Hope you've understood that. That is, if you have a title document that has a CFO already and you want to be the new owner and perfect your title, what you have is governor consent. You have a land that has an excision or a gazette and you want to perfect the title, you have a governor consent. Or you have a land that has a governor consent, you want to perfect the title, you have a governor consent. Now, to have CFO, what must be the root of title? You can only have a CFO on a property that, one, it is free from ab initio. That is, the land is free from government acquisition. So if you are buying such a property, straight up, you can have your CFO. Or you bought a property that was initially under government acquisition and you ratify it by doing the process of ratification or government allocation. Then the next thing you can do is to have your CFO. So let us now even understand the basis now, how to actually go about getting your governor consent or getting your CFO. You see, after making a transaction, there is what we call a deed of assignment that transfer ownership from the previous owner to you, new subscriber. So at the end of that, at the last page of that document, there's usually a section that by the governor, see the seal. So that last portion is what and the deed, because the deed must tell the story of how you got the property, from how the property changed and from one person to the other, tell you all of this story. After which now you can then also now register your deed. When you register your deed, the government now cannot consent to that transaction by giving you what is known as governor consent. That is true. So how do you get governor consent? It means that for you to get the governor consent, that land must be free. Another important tip about governor consent is that if you are buying a property, for instance now, it enables you to know and to check the record of that same transaction. Because that's why I told you earlier on that according to the 1978 Land Use Act, all land belongs to the governor of the state. So the governor, it is the right of the governor to consent to that transaction from that it has earlier given a consent to. Another person want to buy that property. It means that the next title document the person will have is a governor consent. Let me give you a classical example. If Mr. A bought a property, let's say 10 hectares of land. Out of that 10 hectares of land, when the Mr. A has that property, let's say the root title of that one is CFO. Mr. A perfected his title document to have a CFO on 10 hectares of land. Now he sold 2 hectares of that land to Mr. B. Mr. B now wants to perfect his own title. Mr. B cannot have CFO again because CFO can only be given to one person, which is what Mr. A, the first person to perfect his title document on that land by having a CFO. So what Mr. B will have is what is known as a governor consent. Now, it means that it will be a government record that from the 10 hectares of land given to Mr. A, only 8 are left in his custody. 2 have been transferred to Mr. B. Mr. B is now the custodian of 2 hectares of land. That Mr. B is now the new owner of 2 hectares of land that was initially for Mr. A, because Mr. B has perfected his title document on the 2 hectares of land he bought from the 10 hectares that were initially bought by Mr. A. Hope you understand that now. That is the difference between what a governor consent and a CFO. A CFO can only be given to one person or company or organization or individual. That is the first set of people or an individual to perfect the title document on a land that does not have a CFO before, and it is free from government acquisition or it is gotten as a sort of government allocation. Then that person or group of persons will be given a CFO. Subsequent buyer of a title document that has a CFO, what the person will have is what is known as a governor consent. And I've told you how to process governor consent is very simple. Make sure that your title document, after you are perfected, you paid your payment, you deed of assignment, your survey and everything will be used in processing that. So once you give that to your lawyer knows what to do after that. That's simple. And I've also given you the benefit of having all of this record and perfecting your tax because it enables you to be able to make your transaction legal in the eye of the government, so that if anything wants to happen to your property, government knows the rightful owner. If anybody wants to encroach on your property, government knows who is the rightful owner. If government want to make use of your land because they discover a treasure or they want to use it for public use, government knows who to compensate. That is one of the reasons why and the benefit of perfecting your own title document. So governor consent means that a land that had a CFO before, a new person when buying it, you need to perfect your own title also to have a governor consent. That is clear from CFO to governor consent. Or if the land already has a governor consent, now the person, Mr. B from Mr. A now that bought his land, that perfected his own title now to have a governor consent. If Mr. B now with a land title of governor consent want to sell from his 2 acres he bought from Mr. A to Mr. C, let's say now sell 1 acre from the 2 acres he bought. Mr. C, who is buying 1 acre from Mr. B now, also needs to perfect his own title document, and we will have what is known as a governor consent. That is, it will not be also in the eye of the government that from the 2 acres of land that earlier belongs to Mr. B, 1 acre has been sold to Mr. C. So Mr. C is the custodian of 1 acre of land with the governor consent now. And so on and so forth. So if anybody wants to buy that 1 acre again from Mr. C and Mr. D, for instance, Mr. D will also have to perfect that his own title in his own name to have a governor consent. I hope you understand that. That is a very simple process. Another means by which can also get the governor consent is if a land earlier has an excision or a gazette. That is means that that land is not under government acquisition. Don't forget that I've told you that for you to have to perfect your title document, that is either to have a CFO or to have a governor consent, that land must be free from government acquisition. It's either that it is free by nature, that from beginning it's actually free, let's say free old property. The land government does not have any interest for anything and did not declare any interest. So you bought that land, you can perfect your CFO right up. Or the land that was earlier acquired by government but not committed, just a general or global acquisition. Now government releases it to the community, now giving them excision, now giving them gazette, and you buy into such property. You can then perfect your own title document by having what? A governor consent. And I've told you the simple process of processing a governor consent. Your title document, in your deed of assignment, your survey plan, and some of your necessary receipts and what have you are what you need to gather together and then submit to the to the government for processing. And the government will also have to send a representative to also check the land and what have you. So it's a very simple process. Now you've understood how you can actually perfect your title document to have a CFO or to have a governor consent. It is also important to know that for a property that is under a non-committed acquisition or that is freehold, what you can have is a CFO. Like I've told you earlier on, if a land is under acquisition that is non-committed acquisition, you can actually get back that land from government. You buy from the government, and when you buy it from government, either through ratification or through what is known as what government allocation, you can then process further by paying some other statutory charges to the government. Government then releases CFO to you. That is, that land now is now yours because you have paid to government to have it. So if government wants to use that land for any purpose, or anybody wants to encroach your property, then government knows who is the new owner and who is the rightful owner, that you are the rightful owner. And if the land is also initially free, that means government didn't indicate any interest for it ab initio. Government didn't acquire it in the beginning. So and you are buying it like that, pure, from either from the community, from wherever you want to buy it from, you can simply process your CFO on such property. So processing your title document is very, very important, because this is what actually shows that you are the rightful owner. When there is disputes, when there are issues surrounding your land, you know how to claim your property because you have paid what you're supposed to pay.